What's up, everybody? Once again, it is I, James, coming to you from the Nerdy Musings podcast studio. That sick intro beat was brought to you by my buddy Easy Rob, aka Ronnie the Don, over on Instagram. He makes all sorts of awesome custom beats. Make sure you guys check him out. He also did our outro that you'll hear at the end. And speaking of beats, the perfect segue to introduce my buddy, Mr. Todd Beats. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing very well, my man. How are you doing?
Look
That
at
was that
that.
was that was as smooth a segue as I've ever experienced. So well done.
All off the cuff.
Nice.
I
That's
appreciate you
awesome.
being here with me, man.
Oh, a pleasure, dude. I'm excited.
Yeah. You're looking well coiffed, the beard, the hair. I knew I had to be on point tonight. I even put a little beard oil in. After seeing you at Rose City Comic Con, I'm like, this
Oh,
guy's
nice.
got it on point. I got to look sharp.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
My pleasure, man. Well, speaking of Rose City, that's where we first met in person. I've been following you online now for quite some time. Been a huge fan of your variant covers,
Oh,
but we
thanks,
got to
dude.
meet and hit it off at Rose City Comic Con. So,
Yeah.
tell me a little about your experience at Rose City. What do you think of it?
Oh man, it was a blast. I mean, the conventions are always a blast. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of I'm a natural introvert. I way prefer to be in my hole and talk to nobody, but I'm I can manage. I can talk to people and I have a good time, but I'm definitely exhausted by the time it's done. But there were some really cool moments getting to meet you, getting to meet and speak with Nate Quarry. I got to speak with Brian Michael Bendis, and I actually went and saw him on Saturday. And
Oh,
we're
awesome,
talking about maybe he's going to maybe help me get a small project together. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, or if he was just being nice, but we'll see.
man.
Um, but probably the highlight was I was sitting at my table and I'm just chilling. I'm just doing my thing. I was working on a sketch cover or something, and this big, probably 6'2", 6'3", biker looking guy,
Yeah.
grizzled, probably in his 60s, comes up and he just beelines right to my table. He's like, "Oh, mate, I love your work. It's so great in the blood, and I just like this." Oh, and he's just like rambling, and that happens,
Yeah.
often. You got people come up to you and they just start talking at you really fast. You're like, "Oh yeah, okay, okay." And he's like, and he starts showing me, oh, and the caveman drawings, and and Frazetta and all this stuff, and just like going off. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, oh well, anyway, nice to meet you, mate. Simon Bisley. I'll see you later. I was like, whoa.
What? Come
I was
back.
like, hold on, you're Simon Bisley, dude. I was like, okay, hold on. Let's reset my ability to actually talk to you here
Yeah.
and know who I'm speaking with, because I never knew what he looked like. He
I
was
didn't either, man, and I didn't realize he was such a big dude either.
Yeah, yeah, and he was just a character, man. He was just so funny, and just like brash, and he talks and behaves exactly like his art looks.
That's what I was gonna say. I get the impression that a lot of him comes through in his art.
Yeah, yeah. So it was
That's
great, man. Did good sales, made good connections. It's right around the corner from my house, so I didn't have to travel or do hotels or anything. So
oh, dude, that's
uh,
awesome, man.
yeah,
Lucky for
I'll
you.
yeah, I'll do that all day long. So it was
Now,
nice, man.
was that your first time being at a booth at Rose City, or have you gone there before?
No, that was my first
Okay.
attendance and visiting of Rose City, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I, not a lot of people know or realize this, but I've really only been back into comics for about 4 to 5 years now.
Gotcha.
And prior to that, I had to sell my whole collection in 2017 to move here. And
Yeah,
the only
that
reason
hurts.
it stung, dude, because I had some good
Yeah.
stuff. And I hadn't really worked on comics despite being a full time freelance artist like 20 years.
Right.
So I'm just starting to get back into the craft and the collecting and knowing what's going on and who's doing what and stuff. So I applied probably 3 years in a row, and then I think this year they finally let me in. So
Okay.
it's awesome, man. I was very happy with it because Portland Fan Expo was
Oh, really? I've never been to that
terrible.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've only,
Portland, it's tough, dude. It's not a good one.
okay. Yeah, I've only ever gone to Rose City. We tend to go to that one every year. So we've gone to it where you could have, back in the day, you could have gone through that thing in 10 minutes. It was so small.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
how long I've been going. Same with Emerald City Comic Con in Seattle, like in one
yeah.
tiny little, one tiny floor, like you could go through it in 10, 20 minutes. And now it's
Yeah.
like,
Oh
I
my
feel
God,
like
it's huge.
everything, yeah, they're just continuing
I
to
hope I
grow and
get that
grow.
one this year. Yeah.
Trying to
Emerald
get in
City
on the
is
Emerald
what I
City.
want. Yeah.
Emerald City's a really good one. You'll be in my neck of the woods, and it's
Yeah.
uh, it's grown a lot. Now they do things in multiple different hotels, so it's expanded outside the convention center.
Mm,
they like host the celebrity part like in a different hotel, and then the main area. The Emerald City's got a really huge artist alley, so it's
hmm.
kind of got a
Yeah.
whole floor pretty much dedicated to that, which is really cool. So I really hope you get into that one. I think that'll be
Yeah.
a cool experience for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I got to go in 2023 because I was launching a book I did with a couple guys called Paratrauma.
Nice.
And it was, we, it wasn't the greatest plan. Like I tried to get in as an artist and I didn't get in. And then we were like, well, we're just going to go and we're going to talk to people. We're going to show people and all this
Yeah.
stuff. I got to meet Ryan Benjamin for the first time there, and
Awesome.
Humberto Ramos and a couple other guys. Sean Ink Pulp.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sean
He was,
Crystal.
yeah,
Yeah,
he was awesome, and so yeah, I would love to get into that show. We'll
that'd
see.
be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean's actually coming on here in a week or two, so I'm excited to get him on here. And
Oh, nice.
Eric Canetti was just on, so his
Oh,
episode will be
hell
coming
yeah,
out
dude.
soon. Yeah, all
You
my
know,
favorites.
I think it was that podcast that made me go buy uh, his
Arcathena.
Arcathena series. Yeah, yeah. And I hit
Yeah,
him up. I was like, dude, I'm getting all of them. He was like, oh, awesome, man. So,
yeah. Yeah, I backed the original Kickstarter like many years ago, so I have all the first ones that he did, and now he's just keeping it going. It's so cool
yeah,
to see him like, out there being able to promote his style and do what he loves and just push it. Because we talked a lot about how like his style, like when he was trying to break in, was not for the industry
right,
at that time,
right.
so it's, and I've always been such a huge fan of just how dynamic everything is, and his exaggerated proportions and things have always drawn me to his work. So
Yeah,
I'm looking and I'm like, how did they not see it? But
yeah.
the industry at the time was not ready for that, because that was still kind of that image house style
Hmm.
where everything was looking very similar with the overly rendered figures and everything else, and
Hmm.
8 billion lines of cross hatching. They
I
weren't
don't
ready
know
for that.
anything about that at all.
No, you wouldn't know anything about that. Yeah, they had the definitely there was a style back then, that
Yeah,
90s extreme style, we might say.
yeah, yeah.
So take me back to your earliest memories of falling in love with art, and when you kind of narrowed it down to comics being the area of art that you wanted to pursue.
Okay. I always love this journey.
Time machine.
Yeah. So my earliest memories are of drawing. I remember maybe the first thing that I remember was being on a road trip and trying to learn how to draw a lightning bolt, and my mom trying to help me learn how to draw a lightning bolt because I couldn't
Oh,
figure out
cool.
how to get the zigzags to
Yep.
match up or whatever. And drawing airplanes in like preschool. And I just thought I was so smart because like everybody would draw airplanes so you got the body, and then you would see the wing hanging down from the body, right?
Yep.
But I was like, but the wing is coming at you, so you wouldn't see
Yeah,
the wing.
yeah.
So I would just draw the side profile of the wing, and everybody's like, but it just looks like a hot dog, dude. But books like Where the Sidewalk Ends and Shel Silverstein stuff, um, Where the Wild Things Are, books like that kind of started to um, inspire me in those ways. And then cartoons like He-Man and stuff like that really kind of started to stimulate me to enjoy that kind of cartooning, more or
Yeah.
less, of figures and stuff. So I was starting to draw comic stuff and things along those lines pretty young, first, second grade, Garfield and Calvin Hobbes, and I would make little cartoon gift cards and um, things like that for family members because we were poor.
Right.
And it was probably 87, 88. I think it was 88, probably, most likely. No, it would have been, yeah, 88. I got a hold of the TMNT, the very first Ninja Turtles. A buddy of mine had it.
Oh, wow.
The bloody, violent version of Ninja Turtles.
Yep.
And that was like
The
my first
original.
exposure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, like this is so cool. And then another buddy of mine we would walk to school, and on our way to school, there was a 7-Eleven. And so he was collecting books from there, just buying newsstand versions of like Spider-Man and stuff.
Yeah.
And he got me into Spider-Man, and then that turned into me wanting to collect the Marvel cards. And then that got me into like drawing stuff that are superheroes and like creating my own characters. At one point, I remember one of my first heroes that I made up was called Electrolux. We had a
Okay.
it was a character. He was like the dude, and he had like a thing coming from his arm, and I thought it looked all gunny, and I couldn't think of cool names because I didn't
Yeah.
know what that was. And we had a vacuum cleaner, and I was like, well, that's a cool word, Electrolux.
There you go.
That sounds like a hero.
Bro, that's the Rob Liefeld formula for naming characters. Don't feel bad. He's talked about seeing stuff on things and thinking, oh, that sounds cool.
yeah. It's like AC/DC, right? Like,
Yeah.
we just looked on the back of the sewing machine and we liked those
Yep.
letters. It was great. So it kind of just from there, that was probably fifth grade on. I was obsessed and just drew comics obsessively. I went to my local comic shop, and I was known around there, and just this young kid that could draw. I was terrible in school, but I drew all the time. My margins would be full of biceps and fists,
Yep.
and trying to learn how to draw eyes and hands and all that stuff. Just pretty much all the way through high school, and I got pretty good at it. I did do a little local, that comic shop that I went to. We did a little comic. I'll have to pull it out for you next time. I'll have to have that
Nice.
for you, but called Rough Cut, and it was like what's it called when you get like multiple stories put together?
Like an anthology.
Yeah, like an anthology.
Yeah.
So there was like 4 or 5 stories in there, like 8 pages each.
Nice.
And then around 1920, I meet a girl, and we get pregnant, and before I know it, I'm 22 and I have 2 kids and all this responsibility. So like art just kind of went out the window for a while.
Yeah, the timeline branched for a moment there.
Yeah,
the path.
Yeah. And when I was doing, back then, that was 98 or so, 98, 99 when we started dating.
We must be around the same age range ish.
Yeah, 46.
Oh yeah, I'll be 48 this year.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You would have been a senior when I was a
Well, I
sophomore
was
or whatever. Yeah.
homeschooled. Yeah, I was homeschooled, but yeah, I would have been a senior somewhere in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
You
funny
probably had
because
graduated 10 years before that,
I was
actually.
the homeschooling did have me several grades ahead. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was funny. I was thinking, like, man, this guy's story sounds similar to mine, aside from the not being in public school and drawing all the time. I was same thing, like through my local shop. I met some people and we did an
Yeah.
anthology together and published it and all that kind
Nice.
of stuff. I'm like, that's pretty
It was
cool,
good
man.
times, man. The 90s were awesome. It was
Really
very,
was.
it was, you know, uh, more of a frontier, and it's weird
Yeah.
because it's a stupid thing to say. Like, if you said that back then, people would be like, frontier, what are you talking about, kid? Like, this is
Yeah.
modern America. But looking at how the world is today, like, I remember having to hunt down a good comic shop and like
Hmm.
trying to convince my dad to spend precious gas money to drive me out there and
Yeah.
hang out. And he was not necessarily like, he always supported me, but he was not a super fan of the violence and the sexuality and
Okay.
the stuff that were in comics. But
That's funny. My
he did
parents
his
wouldn't my parents wouldn't let me buy the first issue of Spawn, and I was heartbroken because they're like, that's
yeah,
demonic. You
yep.
can't be buying that. I'm like, come
That
on,
sounds
mom and
about
dad,
right.
it's
Yeah.
my favorite artist, please.
But yeah, he did his best to try and, like, he let me get involved, but if he thought I was starting to skew or get too into one side of it that he didn't like, he would or didn't approve of, he would kind of be like, "Hey, man, like, you need to understand what you're drawing when you're drawing that, and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff." So, um, just a great man, and to support me despite his total aversion.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
and Yeah, so I had a couple kids, and of course, surprise, surprise, I also got a divorce about
Oh,
4 years in. Yeah,
yeah.
you can't imagine why getting with a girl at 20 and barely knowing her and getting her pregnant,
I,
how that doesn't
I,
work
I
out. But
never would have guessed. Yeah.
it's such a rare story.
Yeah.
Um, but around that was around 2004, and so all of a sudden I'm have all this time on my hands, and I'm kind of questioning myself as, like, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? Is this making me happy? Because I was just trying to take care of my family at the time, and I wouldn't say I was fulfilled. I was working at like T-Mobile and
Hmm.
stuff like that, and doing some entrepreneurial stuff. I owned a wholesale to the public mattress company, and did that for like 2 years, and did all kinds of other stuff, bookkeeping and cabinet design work, and just all kinds of weird things. And it was about
Probably
2000.
whatever it took to make ends meet, right?
Yeah, yeah, of
Yeah.
course. And it was probably 2005, 2004. I meet my new girl, and she does abstract art.
Oh,
So, and
cool.
I didn't really, I knew about abstract art, but I didn't really know about abstract art. And so I saw her work, and like, I was hooked because, to backtrack a little bit, when I was drawing back then, I didn't like it. I mean, I liked it, but I was so hard on myself about whether it was good or right
Mm,
or accurate or whatever, that
yeah,
I couldn't enjoy the end result at all. And so I get into this abstract art thing that's like, there's no rules, dude. Do
exactly.
whatever you put on the canvas is technically right, because
Yep.
there is no right. So I dove into that, and then I was convinced that I could do that for a living, so I started trying to do that full time. And then, being a full time freelance artist, uh, like an idiot, you're like, oh, this sounds like a great idea, and you're like, oh, it's really hard
Yeah.
to sell art. So I started doing everything, man. I did portraits, I did graphic design, I taught myself Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator and stuff, and talked my way into some jobs where I was I convinced them I could do the design work for their um, instruction booklets. So I
Yeah.
got paid to learn how to do Photoshop on the job. So I was like, my artistic eye will figure it out. So it'd be like, oh, draw a diagram of this oil rig. And it's like, okay, how do you make a square on,
Yeah.
how do you layer this and da da da. So, and then I did music production and video production and camera work and all of these things and got, I had a pretty good, I was pretty good at all of them, but I wasn't dedicated to any one of them long enough to really give myself any kind of momentum.
Mm.
Uh, but I did manage to survive like that for about 13 years. um, just find, I used to call it go find some money. I got to go find some money today. And, hit up people and look for work. And as you can imagine, raising two kids, because I shared custody, so I'd be 1 week on, 1 week off,
Yeah,
and trying to come up with enough money to do that, like it was stress.
for sure.
I met my now wife in 2014. We were officially together in 2015. No, officially together in 2014, met in 2013.
Better remember these dates, buddy.
Yeah, we just did our 11 year. I remember that.
There you go.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thanks. And we just hit it off, and she and I worked really well together. And so we started doing projects and stuff together. And my kids are getting older at this point. They're, 12 and 14, or 13 and 15, somewhere around there. Because it was right before my son, or right when my son got his license. I guess he was 16.
Oh,
whatever.
man. That's got to be crazy.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
Time goes by so quick. Yeah.
It flies, bro. He's 25 now.
That's crazy.
So we're sitting there and like, Oklahoma was tough, dude. It's not known for its cultural appreciation of art and
definitely.
That
I've taught several jujitsu seminars there, so I know the scene.
Yeah. Their idea of good art is whatever you can buy at Hobby Lobby pre-made in a frame.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was burnt out. I'd been trying to get out of Oklahoma, honestly, for about 20 years at that point. And all of a sudden, like at the beginning of the walk that she and I took, we were living in Oklahoma and hadn't thought of anything else. And by the end of the walk, we were like, oh, we're going to move to Portland.
Oh, there you go.
And so we sold everything. Everything. I mean, if it didn't fit in a little 4x8 pull trailer in a U-Haul, it didn't come with us. And we packed up and moved to Portland.
So is this when the collection went bye-bye?
Yeah. We thought that, so our plan was, okay, we're going to get married and we'll ask, instead of gifts, please donate to our moving fund.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, okay, that'll get us, 5 or 7 or 10 grand. And that'll be enough to get us there. And of course we had no other money. And we only end up getting like 2 grand, something like that. So it became this mad dash to raise money. So I had to sell my camera and all my camera equipment. I had a $10,000 camera bag, dude, full of lenses and 2 Nikons, a D800 and a DA2 or whatever.
Oh yeah, those are some valuable, nice cameras. Yeah,
sound equipment, my whole comic collection, like some heartbreaking stuff, dude. But we got here, and she managed to get a job at some spa, and I didn't have any work. So it just sounded like a great idea. Let's move up to Portland with absolutely no money and no jobs and no prospects. And And so I end up finding, she got this job for like $12 an hour, maybe 15, 20 hours a week, which was not enough. Her apartment rent was like 1,600.
Yeah.
My oldest son moved back with us, or moved to Portland with us. Um, and I found my, at the time it was Postmates, but like DoorDash, Grubhub, sign up, drive. I love driving. So I was like, oh, this sounds like a good temporary fix. I can do it whenever I want. It's immediate money. Let's see how it goes. I sign up, I do it. And for like the first year, I was doing like 100-hour weeks, um, just to make enough money to keep our heads above water. And ended up slowly getting good enough at it and figuring out the system and how to make money work, that over about 3.5 years, um, I managed to get us out of debt, pay off all of our debts that we had, and start kind of getting a little bit ahead. And I was getting to a place where I was like tired. I was like, okay, like I'm getting tired of not doing art. I think I'm ready to get back into doing art. I don't have to. Like I make enough. I was probably making 50 a year, 50 to
Yeah.
55 or something like that, and then what my wife was making on in her work. And so it's like I decided, February 2021, I was going to start drawing for at least 30 minutes every day, and I would post that. I would do it live and post the results no matter what. Um, the first month, it was all tigers. So I would draw a tiger, 30 minutes, post it, tiger, post, tiger, post, tiger, post, right? And I'm starting to get a little bit of attention. TikTok is starting to work, a bit. People are starting to like it. And all of a sudden, and then next month I decide I'm going to do stags, deer, antelope, elk, that kind of stuff. And people start making requests. Hey,
Oh, cool.
can you draw Quetzalcoatl? Can you draw Komodo dragon? Can you draw a bear? Can you draw this? And so it's like, oh yeah, I can do that. And so I started engaging people, um, and doing by request, um, and that started to pick up some momentum. And then somebody goes, "Can you draw Venom?"
Hmm.
Yeah, I can draw
Why,
Venom. Yeah, I
yes.
can draw Venom, dude.
My old friend
So
comic books.
yeah. So I did Venom, and then somebody said, "Can you draw a Ninja Turtle?" And I said, "Okay." And then it was like, and then all of a sudden, because I'm on TikTok primarily at the time, I started getting these onslaught requests of all these anime characters that I don't know who the hell they are, dude. But it's like, if it was like a common request or somebody asked multiple times or whatever, I would pick that character. I would go do some research. And when I'm doing it at this point, I'm not doing my own design. I think the thing that caught people was I would pick an image of a popular character, and then I would draw that image straight to ballpoint pen just by looking at it. So it was like
Right.
freehand replication of somebody else's work.
Yeah.
Um, and I did that for 6 months or so. Started to gain a lot of momentum. Got to a place where, like, within the first 4 months, I think I had 10,000 followers, all of a sudden. And by the 6 month mark, I end up posting a video that shows every single piece of art I did over that 6 months.
Nice
And
compilation.
yeah, and then I was over the video. I was narrating about, um, how nothing will give you gains in art like practicing every day. So like you're literally seeing my skills grow in this 1 minute video and hearing me talk about how I'm getting better, and like I'm I'm starting to figure out, like, mentally, uh, the missing pieces that wasn't working for me back in Oklahoma. And oddly enough, I learned because of DoorDash.
There
Because
you go.
it was like when I started DoorDash. Okay, let me back up. Can we back up
Yeah,
again?
go for it, man.
So I'm in Oklahoma and I'm doing all this stuff, right? Trying to make money and trying to do things. And the way that would happen would be like, oh, abstract art is cool, but there's not a lot of buyers for it. I'll start doing portraits because people will buy portraits. So I start getting good at portraits. And it's like, that's too much work and too hard. Maybe if I can get into camera work. And it's like, okay, so I start learning photography. And then it's like, okay, uh, I'm not getting enough clients there. Maybe I can do videography and do music videos. And it's like, and then I'm doing music production just kind of as the side hobby with
Hmm.
a couple buddies of mine. And so like I would start something, and then as soon as I would get resistance from doing that thing, I would shift paths.
Yeah, you would
Right?
pivot. Yeah.
I would pivot too quick. And when I started DoorDash here, it was like I didn't have any options. It was like nobody's going to hire you, dude. You haven't had a job
Hmm.
in 15 years. Your resume doesn't look like anything. It doesn't matter that you can do more than most of the people that you would be this $20 an hour job. Like I interviewed for stuff where I was like, people are like, well, can you do filing and record the video track? I'm like, dude, I've done entire productions. Yes, I can like,
Yeah.
I can label your videos. That's easy. And I'm like, but you know, do you have a degree? And it's like, oh my God. So when I got here and I was doing DoorDash, I just kept doing it and just kept doing it and just kept grinding and seeing the results of like, oh, like if you just keep doing it, stuff will kind of start coming to you naturally.
Yeah.
So um, I was, I figured out like, all I have to do is get behind the desk and work. Nothing else. Like results of the work doesn't matter. The likes and the follows and all that stuff doesn't matter. The money that's coming in today doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is did I put my work in today behind the desk?
Yeah.
And so it was like I'm not worried about today's results. I'm working today to see what my results are going to be like in 5 years or 10 years or 8 years or whatever. I want to see what happens if I keep doing this long. What is my skill set going to look like?
Yeah.
Um, and so that video did like 300 or 400,000 views or something like that on TikTok. So that was pretty big for me at the time. And then some Instagram magazine, one of those puberties or
Right.
something like that, right? Finds me and they're like, hey, can we post this video on our account? Yeah, sure. Just give me credit. That video does 5 million views.
Ooh,
And all
that's
of
a
a
little bit
sudden,
more. A
yeah, that was
little bit
nice.
more exposure.
So that helped my Instagram page go from lagging at like 500, 600 to all of a sudden I have a couple thousand, 3, 4,000. And then that just builds on itself and builds on itself and builds on itself. And I start doing more of my own work. I'm not copying anybody else anymore. I'm starting to get commissions here and there, people willing to pay. And then uh, April 2022, I get in a car accident doing deliveries
Oh man.
and total my car. I was fine. But I knew the second I got in that accident, I was like, I'm done. Start
Hmm.
full time from now on. I'm tired of doing this food delivery stuff. We're ready. And so I jumped jumped back in and was just continuing to do that process. And the first 6 months was pretty tough. Um, but in December, I found Whatnot. December 22, I found Whatnot. Um, and pretty much a weekend, all credit due to Leno Hernandez, Leno Fett. For those that know Leno, um, was an artist on Whatnot that was pretty prolific. People liked him a lot, and he was like, "Oh, I like your stuff, man. Let me plug you into some people. You guys got to see this guy." And from that point on, I have not had. I've had maybe a week or 2 weeks of no commissions
Damn.
since then. It's just been nonstop since.
It sounds like you were actually able to really, the interaction with social media via TikTok kind of not only gave you that initial start with more exposure in the art world, but also gave you that reflection, that reflective period to really narrow your focus and start directing yourself to stick with art and see the progression and stick with it for the long haul. And then you're getting into these other platforms and getting more and more exposure, and you've built momentum now. And it's just the snowball is rolling down the hill at this point, isn't it?
It was all I had to see was, oh, work begets work.
Yeah.
Anytime I would start to slow down, it was like, oh, is it because you're not posting? Is it because you're not engaging? And man, up until the last, maybe since May, I probably answered and responded to 99.9999% of every comment, every message, every, all of that stuff, because I was like, I understood that people buy from people they like first. Like, they'll like your art, but if they like you, then they're really going to get engaged, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So I engaged, and it just, it just kept building. And of course, my skills are just like leveling up, because I don't want to brag, but I'm pretty good at figuring out what's wrong and learning out how to tweak it and how to guide it to the next thing and like continue to grow. And because of all of the different areas of creativity, the music production and the video production and camera work, and I'm a pretty good writer, and I've been studying psychology and stuff my whole life, and that is something I find fascinating. So I started to figure out like, oh, okay, it's not just going to be about my art. It's going to be about, okay, how does an artist overcome the mental struggles and hurdles of being an artist?
Right.
And speaking on that, and not being like, oh, let me teach you how to draw a circle. Like,
yeah.
Dude, there's so many tutorials on how to draw a face or a hand or whatever. And I wanted to bring something different. So I talk a lot about psychology and the mental aspect of being an artist. And I also try to do it in a like, I'm speaking about art, but I try to write it in a way that you can apply it to anything that is your passion,
right?
And to pull that out of you. So for me, more than being a good artist, I want to be a figure that sparks inspiration in somebody, that makes them want to go do what they love doing. So,
well, there's something you inspired in me that I want to talk about, because we had a fun interaction over on Instagram recently, because you posted a very not so nice comment that somebody made on your Instagram, which I'm going to read real quick for the listeners. The guy posted, "Why are you redoing Rob Liefeld? Why don't you just do your own blank SHIT? I'm not sure if this is supposed to be impressive, but being creatively bankrupt is not a flex." And he even hit you with the Obama shrugging emoji or a GIF on there. And to your credit, you gave a very heartfelt, positive response to that critique. And with which I commented on your post, dude, don't waste your energy on these people. Your stuff's great. Blah, blah. Me and a million other people said that, but you said, hey, buddy, like, I got to say it though, and then I think this goes to what you're talking about the communication and in the type of respect you bring with your online presence. And to my surprise, the gentleman, who will name him because he said, you don't need to blank out my name, Kaleem Pool Tejada, said,
Yeah.
he did
Go ahead and
say
read it.
nice word salad.
Yeah, he's responding.
Yeah.
That comment,
So
the
this was
original part of
another,
that comment
yeah.
was negative,
Yeah.
but he
And then he
blows
said,
it.
you don't need to hide my name. I said it. And then he edited his post to say corrected, all props and respect after you read your responses.
That's right. He and I went back and forth a lot.
Yeah.
We went back and forth a lot,
But
and
you had an actual discussion via social media that ended up
yeah,
being positive and changing his perspective, which is
yeah,
incredibly rare,
yeah,
but you did it. And it's like you said, if we looked at the history of those interactions, it's probably less of these ones that come out this way. But the fact that one of them did, I think that's pretty
yeah,
cool, man.
yeah.
That's really cool.
It's it's not often that I can get them to convert. I usually listen, man. I my personality since I was a kid was one that um, how do I put this? I wasn't great at first impressions.
Right.
Um, I have a very blunt, say what's on my mind. I don't know if I'm officially autistic. I don't, you know, I don't know. But I say what I think. And
You would say
so that got
your
me into it.
filter,
No
there was no
filter.
filter.
Todd does not have a filter. Todd does not. If Todd has something to say, Todd says it.
Right.
Now, as I've gotten older, I've learned how to say it in a way that isn't so abrasive and aggressive, and to think through my words and to speak like, okay, let's get to the heart of this issue. And this is probably because of my dad's teachings, and he was a
Right.
very level-headed, just knew how to work through issues. He was the guy that me and my buddies would be arguing, uh, doing these great debates and stuff. And one was, is water wet? And I mean, literally for months and months, and we would get into these great debates, and he would just kind of sit to the side, and then one of them would go, "Steve, what do you think?" They would call him an assassin. Steve the
Yeah.
assassin, what do you think? And he would go, "Well, do you really want to know what I think?" I can hear him saying,
Yeah.
"Okay, one of you is talking about the act of tasting, and one of you is talking about the product of tasting, or the water itself having a taste. So you're arguing two different things,
Hmm.
and that's why you guys can't come to an agreement, because you're not." So he just was always like, he would just be
Yeah.
like, "Oh," and he would just pick up things like, "Oh no, like this is what we're really trying to say," that kind of stuff. So it's hard in those interactions what I have with haters,
Yeah.
for me not to like attack. Like the
Yeah.
instinct is to attack. And you as a jujitsu guy, I think probably appreciate this. Is like there's like mental jujitsu. You're trying
For
to
sure.
guide them into the position you want them in without them realizing they're being guided and put into that position. Right?
And doing it through text online
Yeah.
with no ability to convey tone, your
Right.
expression, how
Right.
loudly you're speaking, all of that,
Right.
which adds a whole other layer to it.
Yeah. Yeah. So uh, getting and more important than converting these people, and this is, I had so many people, don't feed the trolls, don't feed the
Yeah.
trolls. And I'm like, the trolls feed me, bro.
Right.
But I'm not doing it to defend the trolls. I'm doing it to show that 12-year-old kid who gets comments like this, like what why they're saying what they're saying, where it's actually coming from, and how it really has nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
And even if maybe that person has like some legitimate um, critique or something, like how to not take it personal, and how to be like, well, I mean, you don't have to like my art. I don't
Yeah.
like my art a lot of times, and that's
Right.
totally fine, dude. Like that's cool, but it's one thing to say you don't like my art, and it's another thing for you to say I'm creatively bankrupt off of one
Yeah.
post. And like, you don't, hold on, dude. Like, why don't you look at the history of my work and look at what I've done and look at how I approach this thing and then tell me that I'm creatively bankrupt. Um,
Yeah.
so trying to trying to get them to switch it, okay, I know where they're coming from. And so I'll tell you, when I was doing the driving, I'm happy that I'm paying bills, but I am scrolling through Instagram and stuff. And I'm seeing this dude, for example, Joey Lee Cabral. And I'm seeing his work, and he's got, I don't remember at the time, 15 or 20,000 followers or something. And I'm like, this guy doesn't deserve that. Like his skills
Mm,
aren't good enough. So I was hating,
you were that
but
guy. Yeah.
I was that guy. And so I'm hate watching this dude, and he's getting better, and he starts getting better. And I'm like, oh, well, what? Like he's just doing like, why am I mad at his art? Like he
Yeah.
doesn't. It's like, oh, I'm not mad at his art. I'm mad that I'm not doing art.
Yep.
I'm mad that I'm not doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
So why am I taking that out on him? That has nothing to do with him.
Exactly.
So I was like, oh, I got to fix that and start working. So I started working on it. And I credit him and Dan Fraga for helping me
Frag a
get my art.
boom.
Yeah. he That was another incident that kind of helped me get started. Was he started posting his freestyle raps. I don't know if you remember
Yes.
this era.
Oh, dude, me and Fraga go way back. I hung out with
Okay.
Fraga when we were both around in the same we're in the like the same age range. So I hung out with
Okay.
him when he was just baby Fraga back
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
day. I have his I don't know where they're at. I've shown them on here before. Gosh, I need to find it. I had it clipped to my art. He gave me his Extreme Studios dog tag that I have. So I have his Extreme
That's
Studios
cool.
dog. Oh, here it is. I keep it close by, so I'll pop
Oh,
myself on the screen here so we can
yeah, I
see.
was like, I gotta see, dude.
That's his
Nice.
Extreme Studios dog tag
That's
that,
cool,
that
dude.
he gave me way back in the day when he came out for a convention, and I got to quote unquote bodyguard those guys. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Him and
So,
Stephen Platt. And
oh, nice. Yeah.
yeah, so that was fun. And then there was a time with Greg Capullo as well that was really cool back in the day when the
Yeah.
shop used to bring them out and stuff. So Fraga
Hell yeah.
kind of gave you a little motivation and inspiration.
Yeah. So he's posting these freestyles, and like, they're okay.
Yeah.
Like, okay, they're okay. And I say something to the effect of, hey, man, just stick to drawing. Like, and he just very calmly was like, I mean, people have been telling me my whole life what I can do and not do. And with all due respect, I'm going to keep doing what I want. And so,
Yeah.
and that just took me back. Like, he wasn't aggressive. He wasn't like, he wasn't giving me what I probably wanted, which was like a fight. Right.
Yep.
And
That's funny,
so,
dude. It's funny to find out that you were kind of that guy. I
yeah,
think that gave you a whole new perspective on
yeah,
and an empathy for interacting with these individuals
yeah.
who are making those comments and things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a very passionate person, and you know, people don't understand, man. Like, art is, it is a brutal mental struggle
Yeah.
because you are nobody really can show. You can kind of learn how to do stuff from people showing you, and you can, but like nothing for years and years and years, your work is never going to look anything like what you want it to look.
Yeah.
and people are not going to respond to it the way, and the rare occasion you do something great, people are going to be, oh, cool. And like, you're like, you don't understand. This is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
So it's easy to get bitter. Like it
Yeah.
really is easy to get bitter. And so I understand it. And quite frankly, in life in general, but so I just kind of, I gotta stop letting I gotta start putting my money where my mouth is. And
Right.
instead of pointing at the world and blaming them for me not having what I want, do, I need to accept responsibility for what I want and put action behind it.
Yeah.
So
It's
I realize like the world doesn't respond to your prayers. It doesn't respond to your wishes. It doesn't respond to your thoughts. It doesn't respond to anything but action.
yeah,
So,
the proportionate amount of action has to be applied with all of those things for everything to start
right,
firing.
right.
And clearly for you, it's firing on all cylinders right now. I really took notice. Exactly. I really took notice. Like I said, I've been following your work for quite some time, but I really took notice with the Battle Beast variant cover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was one of those perfect storms, and another testament to just put in the work and the opportunities will come.
Yeah.
I instead of looking for work, instead of finding money, my focus became to build my gravity. You know,
Yeah. Well, tell me a
to
little
start
bit. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
to start to create a planet with its
Yeah.
gravity and allow things to start coming to me that are attracted to that planet. I'm
That makes
not
sense.
desperate looking for somebody else to tell me I deserve
Yeah.
to be paid for this project or to work on this job or whatever. It's like I I was confident that my skills will come through, and at some point, people are going to start just asking. They're just going to
Yeah.
start saying, do you want my money?" They're like,
Now
"Yes, I do."
you have very much, yeah, I'm not going to turn down that's a pretty straightforward question to answer, right? What
Right,
was the
right.
big break when it came to getting all these covers? Do you kind of remember your first big one that you were like, oh man,
Yeah.
this is
Yes.
starting to go somewhere?
So at the time, I'm doing fine. You know, I'm booked up with commissions as backed up as 14 to 16 weeks of wait. You know, you put a deposit down, and you know, I go through everybody else that has already put deposits down, and you're in the queue, and like 12, 14, 16 weeks later. So I was just perpetually booked, and doing okay. Um, a guy finds me on Whatnot, and he commissions me to do a Juggernaut Hulk piece. Um, pays a fee, like it was one of the bigger ish projects at the time. And then, you know, I had done paratrauma, which I was like, doing the interiors and the whole book and all that stuff is too much work. I like the
Right.
one-off commissions, and you know, I've learned some stuff from that. But then I found out that he was a retailer, and he and a buddy of his got together and hired me to do their cover for Final Boss. They did a Final Boss for a retailer exclusive,
Nice.
and that wasn't like a huge deal. Like we did okay. We made a few bucks and a few sales. I think at that point, Final Boss was starting to teeter off, and I wasn't. My social media presence at the time was great. I don't sell. I just put my work up, and
Hmm.
people would message and ask for things through messaging and stuff. But like the average viewer, you know, if I have 60,000 people, the average person just thinks I'm just drawing, right? They're not
Hmm.
thinking, oh, he's selling something.
Right.
And I didn't like pushing selling because like that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not selling to you. I'm showing you what I do, and if you like stuff, then go after it. That's cool. But it's a different approach, and so I don't think a lot of people understood. And then a few months later, we're talking about, hey, maybe we should do something else. We should do another book. And so he's listing some stuff. And I'm like, and then he's like, oh, there's a TMNT Naruto crossover. I was like, what? I was like,
What?
that one, dude. I was like,
Yeah.
let's do that
That's a
one.
no-brainer.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, let's do that. And so I got to do 2 covers for that. We dropped that in San Francisco last year in last November, and that was the first convention where I made better money doing the convention than I would just staying home doing whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, so I was like, oh, like you do the cover and you get paid for the cover, but the money is in selling all the books and the signatures and everything that follows up with that. It's like,
Right.
okay. And then it was
Yeah.
like, okay, now I know that, okay, now I need to get more covers because I want to start showing the industry who I am and start getting on the eyeballs of, the big ones and stuff. So my goal in 2025 was to get as many covers as I could do. So I partnered with Adrian again for Witchblade issue 10. And then Jack Medina partnered with me to do the Battle Beast 1. And the Battle Beast was just one of those, um, it was just a perfect storm. It was like
Yeah.
everybody wanted to do Battle Beast, everybody wanted a piece of Battle Beast. Invincible was booming on Amazon, and like it was just hotcakes. So once Battle Beast 1 dropped, and one of Jack's partners was AC Comics from Whatnot, and he calls me up and he's like, hey, Todd, what would you think about coming down to Houston and, doing a signing, and we'll do some lives and stuff. We'll promote the book, and I'll pay for your flight, and I'll cover your hotel and stuff. And at the time, I was visiting my other son in New York. Um, he was graduating college with his environmental science bachelor's degree. And then at the end of the month, I was going to be doing Dallas Fan Expo. And so it was like, and then he was wanting me to come like 3 days after I was going to be back from New York.
Mm.
So it was like, oh my God, bro. And I'm flying there. And I was like, man, I was like, it sounds good. Like, how much would you expect us to bring in on a 1 day event? And so he's like, well, I really feel like you could probably realistically make like this much. And I was like, book that flight.
You're like, I'm
So
going to start driving right
yeah.
now.
Yeah. So I instead of flying, I was like, man, I'm going to be in New York. Instead of me flying back home to Portland and then flying back to Houston, well, can I just fly out to Houston from New York and stay there for a couple of days? And he was like, sure. So, and then we ended up doing 2 days of stuff, and we doubled the money that he thought we were going
Sweet.
to make.
That's amazing.
Dallas went crazy, and I mean, I just, bro, I did something like 160 remarks in like 5 or 6 weeks or something like that, and I don't. During those 2 days, I did something like 40 sketch covers. Like it was nuts.
That's insane.
But it exposed me to a lot of real buyers, and doing the convention, I ended up doing features at AC Comics and over at Jam's Fortress, and then we had our own booth. And then we got Las Vegas Comic Con kind of on a fluke thing. Adrian and I at 10 Forward Comics. And our booth was directly across from Ryan Otley.
There we go.
So my work is right next to Ryan's, and he's seeing my work and stuff popping up, and he's like signing my cover. He's getting all these covers of mine. Oh, who's this guy? So connect with Ryan a little bit, and then we did San Diego for Battle Beast 3, and that cover just was like, dude, people were foaming at the mouth. The prices they were paying for that book with a COA with me and Ryan's signatures was like, they were selling for $140 all day.
Yep.
So it's been crazy. And then that's, of course, work begets work.
Yes.
I've got like 6 new covers since then.
No shortage.
It's been banging.
We can't talk about Battle Beast without kind of talking about our mutual love of Ryan Otley.
Yeah.
And Ryan Otley artwork. I showed you a couple of my pages that I had brought down there.
Yeah.
And you were like, can I take pictures of these?
Yeah.
And then I sent you the link to the original art video, the showcase with some of my higher end ones that I showed on there. So would you say that Ryan is somebody that's like a influence or inspiration for you as an artist?
And I tell this story to Ryan, and I think he misunderstands what I'm saying when I'm saying it to him. But
here's your opportunity. Here's your opportunity. He might be watching.
Ryan, listen, buddy, I need you to understand. I know you did Invincible before you were doing so I never knew Ryan because during his run of Invincible, I didn't know. I wasn't doing comics. I was doing something totally different. But I was doing social media, and I found him because he would do these swirly things. I think one of his kids would do a swirl.
He would have he would have his son do a little scribble, and then he would turn it into something. Yeah,
he would turn it, and I just loved his illustration, like his creativity, and then of course he just is a fantastic artist.
Yes.
So I started following Ryan because of that, not because of Invincible.
Gotcha.
So I know, Ryan, you did Invincible before. Not to me.
That's amazing.
So he's, I admire any of these industry goats deserve an immense amount of respect, because I don't think people really understand how extremely difficult it is to do comics.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is I'm a guy that's done production for music videos and cooking series and political commercials and stuff like that, where I'm coming up with the concept and I'm shooting the shots and I'm finding the locations and I'm doing every aspect of these productions.
Right.
And that's hard. And comics is that, but it's all on a page.
Yeah.
So
monthly comics too, right?
Yeah.
Like doing a monthly book like he did. He did like well over 120 issues of Invincible. That's up there. That's up there. I don't think too many people mention this. Like that's up there with Kirby on Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Like that level of a run on a single title.
Yep. Yeah. It's crazy. Let's see. 120. Let's see. Do 120 times 22.
Yeah.
Is what? 300 fuck, I don't know. That's a lot of pages. I'm gonna use my calculator. 120 times 22, 2,640. Yeah, 2,640 pages, not including covers, not including rough sketches, not including, and then however many panels, and then however many characters in each panel, and that's a lot. It's a lot, dude.
It's crazy.
And to do it consistently and to have characters look the same from one page to the next, and to be able to, it's hard. It's hard. Like, people give Rob Liefeld a hard time, and I'm like, listen, guys, like, shitting on Rob is low-hanging fruit.
Totally.
That guy is the top 3 most successful comic artists of all time.
Yep.
And you can think that his skills aren't as good as one artist or the next, but that guy can draw. Like, he can
100%.
draw. Like, sit down next to a real artist thinking you can, like, people even think they're like, oh man, your work is as good as Jim Lee. I'm like, no, 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 no. Bro, 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 bro.
Don't
Let me
put
tell you
that on
something.
me.
Yeah. I can tell you right now, my art can hang, but if you sat me down next to Ryan Otley or Jim Lee or one of those guys and said, hey, draw this, I'd get blown out of the water. It maybe not quality, like maybe the quality eventually would be the same, but uh, what Ryan can do in 30 minutes and what I can do in 30 minutes is very different.
Right.
And that's my next step into my journey, is to get to a place where I can do panel work and stuff. So
And
that is coming soon.
that's the perfect segue, man, because the last thing that I wanted to make sure I asked you about, man, you're just lobbing them up, and I'm going to knock them out of the park here, because you're
Hey
setting me
man,
up
I
for my
got
next
skills, bro.
question without even knowing it. That
I've
was the
got
next
production
thing I wanted to
experience. I've
ask
told you
you
this.
as we as we start nearing the end of the podcast. I wanted to ask you, because we had talked a little bit at Rose City about this, getting into doing sequential work and
Yeah,
working on
yeah,
a title. And you
yeah,
told me, hey, this is kind of my goal, but we
yeah,
talked about just what you were mentioning about Ryan
yeah,
doing a monthly book and stuff, like how much
yeah,
work it is to do
yeah,
storytelling and panels with multiple characters and all of that. So kind of,
yeah.
what's your game plan in kind of, in a perfect world, how would this unfold for you, of doing a little bit of a transition into some sequential work on a title, whether it be a existing title or creator owned, whatever it may be?
Right. So I've had in the back of my mind this plan for a while, and it's really just a bit about, okay, when, I've got a bazillion plans in the back of my mind,
There's
but
this character named after a vacuum that I think would be the next best image title, named Electrolux.
Electrolux.
Robert Kirkman,
Oh my
you heard it
god!
here
Yeah, just
first. He's
do a whole series of like appliance-based superheroes,
yes.
home home stuff. Yeah, and this is Whirlpool, and yeah,
Yeah. See, hey, don't put them all out there. Somebody's gonna
yeah,
take it.
yeah. Somebody's gonna take it. So um, I do what I currently do really well is I can draw characters very well. I do very dynamic poses. I could put multiple characters in a shot. My ability to compose and stuff is there. Um, I hate backgrounds, um, mostly because I have not taken the time to really get proficient at backgrounds.
Right.
Um, I hate buildings and square edges and like that kind of stuff, because I haven't. I can do it. Like, I can plot out a 3D thing and draw buildings and stuff, but I'm not at a place where it's second nature, where it's
Does not
effortless.
does not spark joy.
Yeah, yeah, it requires thought, and I don't like thinking.
Yeah.
I like looking at the page and letting my hand do what it sees. So my plan is to dedicate time on my YouTube to me publicly learning and educating myself on how to do these various steps that are required to be able to do sequential work. So I have to get quicker at adding in crowds. I have to get better at my textural stuff like dust and clouds and explosions and wind and gusts and action lines and all that stuff. I need to get better at drawing a consistent character face, because
That's
right
a
now
big one.
it
That's
is
a
a
hard one.
huge one. It is a very
Yeah.
hard one. Because right now, like, one of the things I actually really enjoy is not doing the same way every
Hmm.
time. I like my Wolverine to look slightly different every time, and to work on my Venom looking a little bit different every time, because I want to explore it. But if you're doing sequential work, you can't have Batman looking like this in this page. Like
Yeah,
you can't have Frank Miller in the beginning and Jorge Jimenez at the end. It doesn't work that way,
exactly.
you know. So I've got to get better at, okay, can I draw the same face? Can I do something like the thing I loved about the pages you showed of Ryan's was the simplicity of, I forget Invincible's mom's name, Debbie?
Yeah, yeah, Debbie.
Yeah. She's just,
Yeah,
just doing expressions, but it looks
exactly.
like her the whole time, And so it's just like, I want to be able to do that. So it that's the stuff that it's like learning the fundamentals of drawing. Nobody wants to learn that, but when you do, it just takes your art to this whole new level of depth.
For sure.
To be able to express somebody being confused or laughing or just having a regular conversation, that stuff is the hard part. Like making the mundane look interesting, that's the hard part.
Yeah.
So I'm going to dedicate time to that aspect. I'm going to dedicate time to doing character creation with people and like, okay, hey everybody, we're going to create a superhero today, boy or girl, big strong person. Are they going to be fast and nimble? What colors are they? What's their hair like? What are their powers? Work through the creative process, and just have fun creating, and also educate people like how you're creating.
Yeah.
Like I've always
Take
been somebody
everybody
that,
on the ride.
right, and it's
Yeah.
like I've always hated lessons. Like let me dive in and figure it out.
Yeah.
And I learned by watching other people do stuff, and
You're a
like that's
process
why,
junkie. You're a
yeah,
process junkie like me.
very much so.
Yeah.
So I'll do that, and then eventually, over let's say a year or 18 months of me kind of developing these skills, and maybe we find characters that we liked, or people are more well, this character clearly is hot, like people love him. That's the one that they talk about the most. Okay, let's start developing a story, and then slowly building this storyline and these characters, and maybe eventually doing like a giant Kickstarter and like a one-off 64-page book, or maybe I'll be like, I would love to do sequential work, like maybe I'll finally get to a place where that's a passion of mine.
And
So
Robert
we'll see.
Kirkman will go, "Hey, I've been watching your YouTube and I've got an idea for a story for these characters."
Yeah, hell yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
let's
Hell yeah.
manifest that
Yeah,
reality.
yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm here for it, man. So
I like the idea of taking everybody along on this journey with
yeah,
you, and
yeah,
especially like fellow process junkies like me who are going to be like eating it up and learning along with you. I think that's a
right.
great opportunity to use your platform to kind of give everybody a peek behind the curtain,
Yeah,
especially having that vulnerability of letting people know, hey, these are areas that I'm not confident in, and
yeah,
here's how I'm planning to get better at them. Let's get better at this
yes.
together. I think
Right,
that's really cool.
exactly. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
people are, Gary Vee was the one that kind of tricked me into document your process,
Hmm.
document, don't create.
Yeah.
So he was just a big like, it, don't worry about like making a video. Do what you do and have a camera running.
Yeah. Be
You know,
authentic.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
So
such a
so
big thing.
so that's what I plan on doing. I want to show people that you can suck and it's okay to watch people, to be like, oh, I'm not good at this right now. But like if you saw the drawings I did at TikTok in the beginning, you'd be like, I mean, those are good, but it's not what you're doing now, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, and I think it's
Um,
cool you did the compilation video that kind of showed a little bit of a time lapse of that journey too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's super valuable for any aspiring artist like myself. I mean, it's just you can get so down on yourself and not see the progress. Like people do
Hmm.
that in jujitsu all the time. It's like so hard from the inside looking out to see the
Yeah.
progress you're making. You really need a
Yeah.
figure to be able to look and go, no, like, look, you know way more than you did when you started
Yeah.
3 months ago. Like,
Yeah.
here's the proof of that. And then you
Hmm.
have that, you know, a nice documented video version of that. So that's super
Yeah.
cool.
Thanks, man. And I also got, really comfortable with, um, and this still fascinates the shit out of me, but I'm sorry if I'm cursing. I
No,
don't
you're
mind
fine.
that.
Totally good.
I if I put out a piece of artwork, I can make a piece of art that I don't like, that I'm not happy with the results of that artwork. But I can post that same piece that I don't like, and it will have hundreds or thousands of people that
Yeah.
do like it. So I became very detached to the results and realized that that's not my job to judge the end result. Um, my job is to do the work and to let the people decide what, let it find the people that like it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I, maybe I don't like it, but there's like Rob Liefeld, sorry, would be a great example.
For
Like,
sure.
maybe he's frustrated with his own work, but good God, the guy can sell 1 million copies of Young Blood for the ninth time, and
Exactly.
and like, why? Okay,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like if he's bringing joy and pleasure to people with his work, like that's all that matters. I do my
Yeah.
art for me and the person that's going to like it, not the haters, not anybody else. So it's it it frees you up from the constraints of like of the results.
Yeah.
Like, if I do a good piece today, I'm going to do tomorrow, draw another one. If I do a bad piece today, you know what I'm going to do? Draw another one. It doesn't matter. I'm going to work.
Yes.
Time to put the work in.
I can't think of a better way to wrap things up today. I know we have so much more to talk about, Todd. I would love to have you
Yeah.
on here. I think we even dabbled with the idea of doing this live at some point. So we
Oh
might need
yeah.
to, and we might need to do a little collaboration when you do start rolling on that YouTube
Yeah,
idea
dude.
with your creative
I'm down.
process and everything.
Hell yeah.
Well, listen, I want to put some of your socials and things up here. I'm going to have you read them out for the audio listeners, but they will
Okay.
be on the screen here for the people watching via the video. So, first
I
of
am
all,
illiterate, so
I'll walk you through it.
okay.
Sound it out. Sound it out. We've got your website, official website.
Toddbeats.com. You can find me there. That's going to be primarily, you're going to find my variant covers and some other things like artist proofs on that website.
Nice. And then we can go to your YouTube channel.
YouTube, I do all of my work live as long as I'm allowed to do it live. So hop on there, follow me along. You can go back, I think it's about 2.5 years, and literally watch the full process of every single piece of art that I've done since then.
And that's Todd Beats Art on
Art. Yes,
YouTube.
sir. Yes, sir.
And Instagram, another good place to keep track of you.
This is probably my hottest social, Instagram.com Todd Beats. I post all of my time lapses there, confrontational conversations with haters. My stories are great. I have a lot of cool, and I've got to plug this because I don't know how many people actually pay attention, but the story highlights at the top of the profile page, I have stuff called quick art, which is like you can just scroll through stuff that I've done
Nice.
very quickly instead of having to watch the full process videos.
Right.
But I have another one called Inspired, which is an ongoing series where I come across people that are just doing the most random things with great talent, and I post it on my story, and the caption is always pick something and become a total badass at it. So
Nice.
there's stuff from dancers to skaters to, like, today I posted a lady that showed how to peel a tomato and make it just look like effortless. So
That's
it's
great.
some random things, and I do that because my goal is for people to understand that you can be a badass at all kinds of things and embrace that with, like, passion.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
doesn't always have to be, being the best
Yeah.
actor or superstar or athlete or whatever.
Now, did Instagram surpass the level of your TikTok? So we got
Yeah,
TikTok. It's
yeah.
it's Todd underscore beats
Underscore
on
beats. Yeah,
TikTok. Yeah.
yeah. TikTok kind of started to fall off, and I barely do anything on there anymore, especially with whether it's gonna come or go. I had a good buddy of mine. He had 100 some odd thousand followers, and his account got deleted
Oh,
totally
wow.
unjustly. It screwed his life and his earnings and stuff.
I've
That
heard
was his
horror
primary.
stories about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a
So
lot of those hidden little clauses in their user
yeah,
agreement basically says they don't have to give you a great reason to do that either.
yeah. So
In some
I was like,
instances, they don't even have to tell you why they
yep,
deleted your entire livelihood.
yeah. So it's like, I don't think I'm gonna put too much. Like, I'll post stuff up there every once in a while, but I'm not gonna invest a lot of energy
Yeah.
into that. But it's still there. It's still some great videos on there.
Well, before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to make people aware of? Anything else to be on the lookout for? I'm sure you got a lot of different variant covers getting ready to drop.
Just finished one last night for a great book that is launched its Kickstarter yesterday called The Curse of Cleaver County.
Okay.
I'll show you the results of that piece real quick here. You guys can
Awesome.
be one of the first to see it.
Oh, we're getting an exclusive.
I did this Hero Hand series a few months back,
That
and
means I
people
can
really
do this.
gravitated
This
to it.
is, look, we'll do this. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
We're getting an exclusive right there. That's awesome.
This will be a variant cover for this story. And dude, I've seen the art on the whole book, and it's gorgeous. Go support that. It's already fully funded, but it is worth it regardless.
Something I didn't get to ask you, and I'm sure we'll delve into more, is are you a fan of Sam Keith's work at all? Because
Yeah.
Okay. I could see it in some of your line work and stuff. So I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you about that.
Yeah. Sam Keith. Since we're doing exclusives,
Yeah,
I'm not going to exactly tell you what I'm doing,
don't
but
get
I am
yourself in
going to
trouble,
tell
but tell
you
us what you can tell us.
that
We're throwing it back up.
the
Breaking
Max
news.
and Todd Beats in New York City Comic Con. That's all I'm going to say.
Ooh, I am excited. My Spidey sense was going
Yeah,
off.
tingling. Yeah, that one's pretty cool. I'm
I was
excited
seeing
about
your
that.
line
Yeah,
work, and I'm like, Todd likes Sam Keith. I can see it.
dude, I'll send you what it is, but
Everybody's
you
gonna be
can't show anybody.
jealous. I won't show anybody. Promise. I promise.
But I've got that. There's a great book called Roy Beckwith that I just did a cover for that I love, with this cowboy cover that I thought turned out beautiful. Twisted Turtle 1 and 2 are dropping. And then I've got Exquisite Corpses 5 comes out
Oh yeah, that
this
cover's
week.
sick. Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah. Exquisite Corpses 5, Exquisite Corpses 4. Those are the newest that are out. So yeah, man. And I've got another cover due at the end of the week for a book called Rotten Gore.
Okay.
So yeah.
No
Just
shortage of Mr. Beats being busy, man.
yeah, beat my brain in is what I'm doing.
Awesome, buddy. Well, listen, thanks so much for spending this time with me today, man.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Thank you
Definitely going to be
for
bugging you
letting
to
me.
be back on.
I can't wait. Tell
Uh,
Sean he needs to bring me onto his
Oh,
podcast.
I will for sure. I will let him know. Well, hang out with me for a moment while I give everybody my spiel here. Everybody, make sure you go follow Todd on all his different platforms that he interacts with. Don't be a hater. Don't post those comments if you can help yourself. Todd spreads a lot of positivity on there and is out there doing great work, interacting with you guys and being an inspiration. So make sure you support, check out everything that he does. The podcast now has a Patreon. If you want to go on and support, you can do that. I think for as low as like $5 a month or $7 a month. I forget what I set it at. 7, because that's my favorite number. Lots of exclusives on there. We're going to be doing some live episodes that are only available on there. Some goodies, some stickers. One of the tiers has where you get a exclusive Nerdy Musing shirt with your name on it. All sorts of cool stuff. If you want to support that, patreon.com/nerdymusings. If you enjoy the podcast, please consider a like, a subscribe, share it with a friend. And in the meantime, everybody, keep it nerdy.